O'Connell, the opposition coach, who's still lurking in the background, whispered to you just before we went on air, are you playing as well? You could play 5 spinners.
Sure would have enjoyed playing on pitches like these, I'm sure. Listen, we have a very strong team. We have some good spinners in our squad. We've been taking it game by game, and hopefully we can just look at today's game. You know, in every game we go, we try to learn something from the game that we're playing. We don't like to look too far ahead. It's one game at a time, one punch at a time, one over at a time. So, you know, that's what we're looking to do today.
As a spin group, how do you sort of handle all the different kinds of spinners you have? The mystery of Narayan, Fawad, the experience, and of course youngsters like Haripia and Akil Hussain.
The great thing about this bunch is that we share information. There are no egos in the squad. A young player can go to the senior player and share an idea what he thinks he's doing right or wrong, right? And that's a good thing about it. It's not hard to coach guys like these because information keeps on sharing, moving around the group, and it's good for the youngsters as well. But I think the main thing is that the experienced guys are not afraid to share information and also receive information. So that's good for us. It's not really hard to coach these guys.
Finally, as a team, you are in the semi-finals, top of the group. What do you get out of a game like today?
No, it's momentum. You have to keep that momentum. The next game is on Tuesday, and we, as I said earlier, we try to learn from each game we play, and today is no different. We'll be looking for stuff during the game to see what we can do better on Tuesday. So we look to learn from each game, and today is no different.
Thanks for your time. Go well.
Thank you.
Clearly a happy and relaxed Nikita Miller, and who can blame him? I'd like to welcome now the other twin tower, former Australia international, Tom Moody. Tom, they can afford to feel pretty relaxed and try a lot of things out today, eh?
Yeah, look, they can do, and I think they've done that over the last couple of games. They've sort of mixed their teams up. They've rested key players at key times. But the important thing for them, and it has been mentioned by them, is that they want to continue that momentum. The last thing you want to do just before a semi-final is drop a game and lose momentum and just sort of shake the confidence of the group. If you're going to drop a game, you want to do it in the middle of a tournament or at the beginning of a tournament, not at the pointy end where really you're wanting to build up that enormous momentum to crush your opponents.
And Bish?
Just one thing to add to what Tom is saying there. One other reason that I mentioned to a group of people the other day why this game is so important for them. In this country, there's a lot of suffering taking place around the world, but more so in this country, the locality. People are losing jobs, losing lives, losing businesses. And it's so important. So many people. There's an 84-year-old woman called Pearl who tunes into every game. And this is so important for people like her, that they see excellence every time they see TKR walk on the field, that there's no rest days for TKR. They have to come with their A game every day for the people of this nation.
Beautiful and poignant, and really on point there, because we look at Carrie Pierre, we look at an Akil Hussain, both from Laventille, Trinidad, a depressed area, and cricket is a game of development, a game of upliftment, and it has been that for them.
Yeah, for East Port of Spain, not too many cricketers, as I've said before, come from there. So two guys, Akil and Carrie, who have come through school together, who have grown up together, very important for them, and they perform well. And they've got Nikita Miller as well, the former West Indies and Jamaica left-arm spinner, as one of the coaches in that group to help their development, to help them along. And I think when Nikita mentioned Kohli, it wasn't Virat Kohli. It was Andre Kohli who coaches the Jamaica team. So great to see them doing what they do. And I hope that they go and elevate themselves even more.
All right, let's move on to the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Sheldon, Cottrell, Tom Moody, hasn't been his best CPL. He had a few bruises, bumps.
Yeah, look, we know what he's capable of doing. He's had a very good, I think, last 2 years as one of the leading pace bowlers, not only in the Hero CPL, but in other franchise cricket and for the West Indies. He did have an issue. He missed a couple of games because he had a dental procedure, which really knocked him. And we've got to also consider he's just lacking that match time bowling. And suddenly, if you get 2 games taken away from you, it takes time to get that rhythm out in the middle again. So, I'm sure he'd be very keen to make sure he finishes, on a very strong point, because he's got a point to prove personally, and also the team. He's wanting that team to prove a point in that last game.
Sure. I mean, there are many personal ambitions, but surely Ian Bishop, as a team, the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, will want to finish as the Barbados Tridents did yesterday, leaving people with something to remember.
Yeah, and Sheldon Cottrell is a big part of that 5 games this season for him, so the experience he can share around this group is also helpful because remember, he's been around this cricket for a long time now. So Rayad Emrit will be reinforcing. There are a number of things. Contracts you can win, performances for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, where the franchise is based, and just as a professional, you want to do well to finish.
All right. Well, we talked about Sheldon Cottrell. Another man in this team who will want to come good today is with Gautam Bimani.
When it comes to the great pairings in T20 cricket, one that comes to mind for me is the Bash brothers, or are the Bash brothers. Today, they're up against each other, but the good news for one of them is that the other, as in Baz McCullum, will not have bat in hand. So let's come to Chris Lynn instead. I had to remind you of that. I know it's not been a great tournament for now, but every time you come up against Baz, I'm sure those memories come flooding back.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's finished his career up now and in the coaching ranks, and he's doing a great job. Obviously, Trinidad are flying at the moment, and we're at the other end of the scale. So hopefully we can finish on a high today and personally get some runs as well.
I know the last game, just when you started getting into a groove, both yourself and Evin Lewis, the rain decided to come. Is it frustrating at times like that? Because you looked like you were middling it.
Yeah, it's and look, the game before I probably invested in myself as well, just chewing up a lot of balls, but spending time at the middle. But look, cricket's a funny game, and that's just the way it worked out. But yeah, as I said, it'd be nice to finish on a high today, face as many balls as I can, try and hopefully contribute to a team victory, because it's not how you start the tournament, it's how you finish the tournament.
If you had to look back on this tournament, obviously you want to finish on a high. What would you say as a team were the areas that maybe you could have done things differently?
Look, I don't want to make too many excuses. Obviously, bat and ball, we've never put the perfect game together. It's always seemed to be one innings that clicks, but we tend to fail in the other. Again, not making excuses, but we've only been able to train together as a team twice, so without having nets is quite difficult. But we're good enough players to adapt and adjust. So yeah, it's been frustrating, but at the end of the day, we've got to be accountable for ourselves. And myself personally has been disappointing.
A few positives to take out as you head out.
Yeah, well, hopefully a few more runs on the board. That'd be nice. Obviously, a big tournament coming up in the IPL, and hopefully, as I said, if I can personally get some runs and some time in the middle under my belt before that tournament, then that'd be satisfying. But again, I'd love to finish on a high for St. Kitts.
And off the field, would you say that the run from Ben Dunk the other day was the highlight for the Patriots?
Well, I did like Bish's commentary where it turned into a brisk walk. He calls himself a heavy tracker, Ben Dunk, in horse racing terms. But look, a bit of fun, a bit of energy, and yeah, the boys definitely got a laugh out of it.
Well, I'm reckoning we're not going to get that today. Go well, Chris.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, certainly a season Chris Lynn might want to forget, Tom Moody.
Yeah, look, he's had his difficulties, hasn't he? And I think he, like everyone else, I suppose, except for the players that were in England in the secure bubble, the West Indian players I'm referring to, have had some sort of cricket. So he came in cold, like a number of others, and he never got going. He really never got going. And I think that there's a lot of things he can put that down to. A lot of people point the finger at spin, the struggle of spin. But then again, a power batsman like Chris Lynn needs time in the middle to be able to play his best against spin. And I think his game has improved against spin over the years, but it's been exposed. And whether that's more a technical thing or a mental thing, I think it's more the latter has been his obstacle this season.
Ian Bishop, Jason Holder turned it around for the Tridents yesterday. Can Chris Lynn do that for the Patriots today?
Well, he's good enough. He certainly is good enough. We saw little glimpses of that in the last game before the rains came in, and once or twice this season. So they'll be hoping that him and Evin Lewis, Joshua Da Silva, Denesh Ramdin, if they get a chance. Cricket is a funny game, T20s, one guy can win a game, so the Trinbago Knight Riders better not take them for granted.
Well, we've seen one guy win a game on the Trinbago Knight Riders team. Tom Moody, thank you very much. Ian Bishop, thank you very much. Quick predictions, very quick.
I think TKR are going to be hard to beat today.
You don't have to ask me that. Simply because I think there's a lot of power. There's a lot of pride in that TKR family, and I shudder to think they won't come out there and take it for granted.
All right, well, there we are. It's a lot of action happening today. TKR trying to maintain their perfect season, but it's the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots home game, and though they haven't had the season they wanted, they still have fans all across the region and all across who will be wishing them well, who will be urging them on, and who still believe in them. In fact, we've got one of them coming up next, and after that, it's going to be action from the Brian Lara Cricket Academy.
Me no know about you, but me love St. Kitts. It's indeed my pleasure to wish the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots good luck on the game today. The whole nation is watching with pride. So work together, and more importantly, work as a team and for our country. Good luck, Patriots. St. Kitts and Nevis got you.